What if Elon Musk, the world's richest and most successful person in the world, decided to start an AI agency? What are the steps he would take to start and scale it? And that's exactly what I want to go over in this video. And so Elon Musk is the undisputed richest human alive and greatest entrepreneur of our time. He has a current net worth of over $400 billion, which is insane. And he currently runs 6 of the most innovative companies in the world: Tesla, SpaceX, X, all the companies he runs. He's revolutionizing industries. And with all these companies, the combined valuation is over $1.54 trillion. And so I've read and watched every single piece of material on Elon Musk that I can get my hands on. And this video is a distillation of every insight I've gathered from Elon and how he would apply to an AI service business if he was running one. And so before we get into the tactics and strategies, you have to understand that the businesses that Elon is running and the industries that he's in are some of the most difficult in the world. I mean, he's in the automotive business, rocket business. I mean, these are insane. And just because a specific strategy works in one industry doesn't necessarily mean it will work in another. And so we have to be mindful about these tactics and strategies. I just want to kind of put that in there as a disclaimer. And so why isn't Elon currently running an AI agency? Let's first break this down. Why isn't he running an AI agency? Well, here's the reason. An AI service business is by far the best way to create wealth in 2025. So why isn't he running one? Well, it's because Elon is already the wealthiest person in the world. He isn't looking to create more wealth. He's looking to transform industries. But before he was the wealthiest person in the world, what was the first business he started to acquire wealth? Okay. It was an online business called Zip2. And Zip2, which was founded in 1995 by Elon and his brother Kimball, built online city guides with business directories and maps for newspapers, which later sold to a separate company in 1999 for upwards of $300 million. Okay. And that's how he initially created wealth and got started. And so why did he start Zip2 as his first business? Well, Elon, he said numerous times he recommends starting online service or digital product businesses with no money. Okay. And so using skills and internet access, he started Zip2, which was the company we just went over. And so initially he says, if you have no resources, if you have no money, start an online business. Okay. An online company, whether it's a SaaS or an online service business. In this instance, we're going to be talking about AI service businesses. These are by far the best businesses to start because the barrier to entry is much lower. Imagine wanting to start one of these businesses in 2025 with no resources, starting, the next Tesla or SpaceX. It's damn near impossible. Okay. And so like we mentioned, when it comes to online service businesses, little to no capital needed to start, extremely high potential, and it forces you to learn every essential skill. That's one of the most underrated aspects of, let's say, starting an agency or a service business, especially if you're grinding it out by yourself in the beginning. You as the founder, you're forced to learn all the skills that a founder is required to learn: sales, marketing, systems, everything from A to Z, recruiting. And so, not only, will you get the value of making money and creating wealth, but even more valuable, I'd argue, is acquiring the skills that's going to last you a lifetime. So then we have AI service businesses, which is a type of online service business that you can start. It's within that same umbrella. And so why is starting an AI service business by far the best opportunity to get into in 2025? Well, first of all, the demand greatly exceeds the supply of people that can fulfill the demand for these AI services, at least quality ones. And it's also the biggest revolution that mankind has ever seen. And you get an opportunity to become an early adopter in this revolution that's going to, transform our entire lives on forth. Okay. And so Elon started Zip2 because that was the best vehicle for him to acquire more wealth and resources. In the same way that Elon started an online service business during the internet revolution, you need to start one during the current AI revolution to acquire wealth, just like Elon did with his first company. Okay, so starting an AI service business is the equivalent of Elon starting Zip2 back in 1980 or 90, whenever he started it. But if Elon was still trying to acquire wealth in this day and age, starting from zero, and he decided to start and scale an AI service business, this is exactly how he would do it. And I'm going to lay this video out to you in 3 separate components. Okay, what are the 3 main components I'm going to lay this video out to you in? Well, it's the 3 main components of a business, which is the product, the marketing, and the operation side of the business. And in this video, I'm going to break down each one as to how Elon would run it and how he would scale it. Okay, so stick with me. And so the first component we're going to break down is the product. And Elon often says that the entire reason why businesses exist in the first place is to create a valuable product or service that solves a problem. And so what is the main mental model that Elon uses to identify problems and solve them? Well, it's something called first principles thinking. And Elon's first principles mindset involves breaking down complex problems into their fundamental truths, questioning assumptions, and reasoning from the ground up to find innovative solutions. It's about understanding the core essence of a situation rather than relying on conventional wisdom or analogies. And this is, the foundation of how Elon is able to innovate within all his companies. He rejects the original premise, the other assumptions that other people set, and he reasons from the ground up. Okay, and so here's an example of a real problem Elon was facing within Tesla and how he used first principles thinking to solve it. Okay, and so Elon was using first principles thinking for Tesla's full self-driving system back when they were developing that system, by reasoning that since humans drive using vision, so we drive using our eyes and our brains, cars should be able to also. He ditched LiDAR. Everyone was telling him to use LiDAR, which basically is some these expensive sensors that can like detect things. He basically said, everyone was telling him to use it, and he, rejected that premise. Okay, he said, hey, since humans use eyes and a brain to drive, computers should be also to, with cameras and an AI brain. Okay, and so they focused on cameras and AI to mimic human driving, simplifying the system for cost and scalability. And so this was a few years ago, and they decided to go with Elon's suggestion of using the cameras and the AI brain, and we can see how that's been working. They're already rolling out the robotaxi in Austin, and people are loving it. Okay, and look, Elon wouldn't build a product or service for no reason. He would identify a market and analyze the problems they're having, and then reverse engineer the best mechanisms/solutions to solve those problems. And I've talked with tons of AI agency owners, and the biggest problem I see is that they have a tool or some sort of AI mechanism that they've built or someone told them to use, and they're trying to see which problems to solve and which market to help based off of that tool. When in reality, you always want to start with the market. You want to find a winning market and then analyze what problems they're solving, and then what are the best mechanisms to cover the entire gap, to bridge the entire gap in between their current and their desired situation. So never start with the mechanism, always start with the market you're helping and the problems they're solving, and then from there, reverse engineer the best mechanisms and AI tools to implement. Okay, and so the next principle that enables Elon to create the best products and services is his obsession with details. Elon is notorious for being overly obsessed with product details and the engineering behind it. And in the early 2010s, when Tesla was developing the Model S, Elon test drove the prototype and returned with a list of 80 detail changes that needed to be made to the car, even including minor tweaks to the door handles of the car, which is insane. And so you want to apply the same logic to your service. You want to audit your customer journey, the customer roadmap, and then you want to ask yourselves, are my customers reaching their desired situation as efficiently as possible? Okay, the greatness is within the details, and if you can go within the details of your customer roadmap, of your service that you're offering, and you can tweak it to make it as efficient as possible, then you're gonna get better results, for your customers. And so the next thing, and probably the last one for the product section, is never use a cruise missile to kill a fly. And what does this mean? Well, it basically means that you want to solve problems with simple, efficient solutions. You want to avoid over complexity to save time, cost, and resources while achieving effective results. So if you're facing a problem and you either have the choice of solving it with an expensive, complex solution versus a simple, cheaper solution, always go with the simple and cheaper solution every time, 10 out of 10, 100 out of 10 times. And so not only is Elon focused on achieving a specific outcome, but he's also looking to do it in the cheapest and fastest way possible. And so after he reverse engineers the market he's going to help and the problems he's going to solve for them, he reasons up and decides what are the best mechanisms to implement into his client's business and to help them achieve their desired outcome. And this is where implementing AI comes in useful. There are a variety of AI mechanisms you can implement for your clients that will get them to their desired situation faster and cheaper, opposed to leveraging human labor and other mechanisms. Okay, this is probably one of the biggest, value propositions of AI is that it's going to help your clients get results either by cutting the costs, by doing it quicker, or providing better quality results, opposed to leveraging traditional mechanisms and traditional human labor. And so the last thing I want to talk about within the product section is how would Elon price and scale his AI services? Well, let's actually take a look at how he did this with Tesla when he was first starting Tesla. And so I call this scaling with the Tesla model. When Elon was first building Tesla, they didn't start with a low-cost, high-production car, basically a low-ticket offer. Instead, they started with a high-cost, lower production car, which essentially was the higher ticket offer, which was the Roadster. Okay, their first car that they were selling was a Roadster, which was a premium car, a luxury car with a premium price point, a high price point. Okay, and the reason why they did this was because they can sell less of them and make more money, opposed to selling a cheaper car, which they would have to make more of to make less money in the end. And so scaling production is extremely hard. It is much easier to create a car that's more valuable and sell that to fewer people. And selling a higher cost car, which was the Roadster, as Tesla's first product, boosted the status of the brand. So not only Could they make less of them and make more money, but also position their brand as a premium brand because they were selling a premium product, okay? And selling an expensive product to fewer people allowed them to collect more profits and also created a customer base of high net worth individuals, which can be leveraged when they create products down the value ladder. So if they can afford your most expensive product, which is your first one, then when you introduce lower, smaller price points, cheaper products, then you can sell that to them also because they've already bought your most expensive thing. You can downsell them. Okay, and you want to do this with, whenever you start your AI agency or whatever service business you're starting, always start by solving a narrow, specific problem to a specific ideal customer profile and charge lots of money for it. Okay, and then as your audience grows and your business grows, your exposure grows, then that's when you can introduce lower price points that you can sell to more people who probably can't afford, the most expensive thing you're selling. And so that was the first component, which was the product. Now the second component, which I want to go over, is the marketing. And so what is Elon's marketing philosophy? Well, it's basically that great products sell themselves. You want to focus on building awesome products, and sales will follow through with word of mouth. Okay. He also has no advertising budgets. Tesla didn't spend a single penny on advertising. They rely on product quality and organic buzz. And so Elon's not a believer in paying for advertising. Instead, he's a believer in creating organic buzz for a product, which honestly, what I'd recommend, I would tend to disagree with this, only in the AI service business space. I'd say run ads. Ads is probably the quickest way to scale. If you know how to get the right creative in front of the right person, then I'd recommend running ads. But we're just, this is what I mentioned in the beginning, that specific strategies and tactics, might be different when they're transferred over to different industries. But we're just, for the sake of this video, we're going to go over how he would transfer over his strategies to an AI service business. And so, he's a believer in creating organic buzz for a product and then making the product so good that it grows by word of mouth. And believe it or not, Elon is actually one of the biggest content creators in the world. He has over 220 million followers on X, his own platform, and he's constantly promoting and creating buzz for his products by posting on X, formerly known as Twitter. And here's a few examples. When Grok, their new Imagine feature came out, he posts a lot about it. He shows examples, and then he has a call to action to download it. Same with Tesla. He's always showing their new features, their new cars, whatever they come out with. He's showcasing it on X. And same with Starlink. Every time they roll out a Starlink to a new country, he posts about it. So his post, he has over 200 million people following him. It's probably going to reach the people who live in this country. Okay. He's also reposting stuff, but and I asked Grok to check how many times he's promoted his products or services within this past month, and it said that for SpaceX he's made 15 promotional posts. For the X platform itself, it's been 10 promotional posts, Tesla 8 promotional posts, and XAI 5 promotional posts. I actually think it's more than this because on his feed it's literally just filled with the new Grok Imagine feature, but even this within the past month is a lot of marketing for his services. And it's safe to say that Elon's primary way of promoting his AI service would be by posting content. But when Elon is promoting a product or service, he does it in a specific way. He does it to create buzz, okay? And to create buzz, he launches products in a way that transforms them into objects of desire. Okay. And so every time he's done a demo on his product, he's, done it in a way that positions the product as a desirable object on a pedestal. Okay. So when it's been the Cybertruck, this is probably the only time it's failed. Okay. When they literally smashed a hole in the window. Optimus, the new Tesla cars, they literally shot a Tesla into space or took it into space with one of the rockets and got this sick photo from it. All his unveils have positioned his product as a premium product on a pedestal, an object of desire. And so he positions his products in a premium way because he understands that if you're selling a high-ticket premium offer, it has to be perceived as something premium and valuable in your prospect's mind. The same way that Steve Jobs revolutionized physical store locations, Tesla's stealing that page from their playbook. Okay, Tesla literally has its own stores in malls, probably in your local mall, and and it's really clean. Okay, it's very simplistic, it's very futuristic, it's elegant. Okay, and so make sure that you within your business, that your entire funnel and sales process communicates that if you're selling a high ticket product or service, make your funnel, your sales process, your environment, your ecosystem feel like a premium place to be. You're providing real value, not fluff, and make sure that if what you're selling is a high price point and is premium, you have a premium funnel, so that way your prospects know what their expectations are when they hop on the sales call with you and you reveal the price point of your product. Okay, and so that was the marketing aspect, and the final and third component is operations. How would Elon lead his company, implement things, and test things? Okay, that's what I'm about to go over with you. And the only thing that he focuses on is the thing that matters. And what is the only thing that matters? Well, he said it himself. The only thing that matters is solving the limiting factor. Okay, and the thing about Elon is, I think it was in a podcast with Kevin O'Leary. He said it himself that Elon is the only person in the world, and this is what allows him to be so successful, is he's the only person in the world who has 100% signal to noise ratio. 100% of his attention is always focused on the only thing that matters, and 0% of it is focused on things that don't matter. Okay, he has a laser beam focus. He's insane. And so Elon runs all of his businesses based off the theory of constraints. So what is the theory of constraints? Well, it's very straightforward. It basically says that you want to identify and fix the main bottleneck to improve system performance. Okay, so all your attention, all your energy spent on the business as the founder should be focused on deconstraining the business, or solving the problem of whatever the bottleneck or the constraint in your business is. As you can see in this image, the throughput is being constrained by this specific part right here, and so you want to focus all your attention and energy as the founder on fixing this part right here. And once you've solved that one thing, then there's a new thing to solve. Okay, and so Mark Andreessen, he's a billionaire investor, blah blah blah. He basically said that he's worked close with Elon, and he said basically what Elon does is he shows up every week at each of his companies, identifies the biggest problem, also known as the constraint, that the company's having that week. He fixes it, and then he does that every week for 52 weeks in a row, and that is how he innovates quicker, and that is how he grows all his company, is by focusing on the constraint, not going to meetings, not focus on some other BS. It's by only focusing on what matters, which is the limiting factor. And so what are some of the main principles Elon has when it comes to solving these problems? Well, the first one is you always want to have a maniacal sense of urgency. That's word for word what Elon said when he walked into Twitter. It's from his autobiography, or his biography, written by Walter Isaacson, which is a great book, by the way. I'd recommend you read it. But once Elon has identified the main constraint within the business, he aims to solve it with extreme urgency. How? By setting insane deadlines. Okay, and this is straight from the book. It says that unrealistic deadlines push teams to achieve what seems impossible, although it may demoralize some. Okay, and this is why not everyone's built to work with Elon, because he puts insane deadlines that literally break people. But also at the same time, while it is demoralizing to the team members and the people that are working, it allows them to accomplish things that other companies can never even fathom of accomplishing. Okay, and so when it comes to implementing and testing things, Elon has a 5-step algorithm for doing so. Okay, and this is Elon's 5-step algorithm for implementing and testing things, whether it's internally, product-wise, etc. The first step is to question every requirement. You want to challenge all assumptions and requirements. Okay, and this is where first principles comes into play. And the second step is to remove as many parts or processes as possible, cutting more than you think. Okay, so if you're hesitant about cutting something out, cut it out. Okay, that's what he says. And he says if you're at least not cutting, if you don't at least have to add back, I think it was like 10% of the things that you cut out, 10 or 20% of the things that you've cut out, then you haven't cut out enough. Okay, and so then after that, you want to simplify, optimize what remains only after deletion. And then the fourth step is to accelerate, speed up processes after simplifying. And the last step is to automate last after eliminating inefficiencies. So question everything, delete the things that you don't need. You go above and beyond when it comes to deleting. You might even have to add some things back, simplify, accelerate, and then automate. Okay. And so, even this algorithm right here, it all starts with first principles approach, which allows him to question everything, because the only laws are the ones set by physics, and everything else is a recommendation. And so this is exactly how he's able to revolutionize industries and innovate faster than everyone else. Okay. And so when it comes to operations, marketing, product, this is exactly how Elon would go about it when running an AI service business in this day and age. And so if you got any value from this video, the first link in the description is our completely free AI scaling specialist school community. We have hundreds of founders in there, all looking to start AI service businesses within this day and age. We have tons of resources. This entire flowchart will be in there. All my YouTube flowcharts in there. You get direct access to me. I'm always active, and I'll see you on the inside.